Hello everyone, this video is going to be a bit of a nightmare because that's right, this is Jack Skellington's house from A Nightmare Before Christmas. Now since this is such a tall build, we're going to essentially start with the bottom and work our way up. So as we see in the film, there is sort of this front gate out in front of Jack's house. So we have an opening gate here. Up on the columns that are kind of holding the gate up in the film, there are some rather spooky looking cats, so I tried to create something that looked a little bit like a cat there. And if we open the gates, we'll see kind of this rickety staircase that you can walk up to go to Jack's front door. In the film, this is a bit longer and a bit more windy, but for structural integrity's sake, I didn't make it too tall because this thing would want to just tip over, since Tim Burton structures tend to not exactly, they tend to defy gravity in a way. But I tried to kind of make it a little more precarious, yet structurally sound at the same time, which was an interesting challenge, but it seems to work pretty well because it's pretty sturdy. Now at the top of the steps we have Jack's front door, and if you remember in the film, the mayor walks up to the door and kind of pulls a bat doorbell, which I have a lever here on the side to kind of act as that doorbell, and then there was like a peek hole that was an actual eyeball, so I have that there on the front, and yes, the door does open. You just kind of have to press it open from the inside, and it's a pretty skinny door, so there's not a whole lot of space to actually fit a minifig through there or fit a minifig in there unless he's kind of standing sideways in there. But there's a little bit of room. If we turn it around to the back, you can see I tried to incorporate a little bit of detail. There's a spider here on the back, and you could probably attach another one over here if you wanted. And then there's a ladder that allows you to kind of move up to the next story. Now back around to the front, I tried to incorporate a little bit more of that kind of shabby ricketiness. We've got some columns for the front porch roof here, which is kind of real angular and kind of wonky, and these bars come out at kind of odd angles to support it, which I really liked how that turned out. And then the whole sides of the structure, at least the bottom half of it, are using these kind of long inverted slopes, because if you look at the film, the whole building seems to go outward from the bottom. It's got a very small base and a very large top half, so it looks very precarious and top heavy and a bit eerie and creepy. The side panels here are just attached using some clips onto a bar in here that allowed me to attach these onto the sides to look a little more like some paneling on the side of the house, sort of reminiscent of a Victorian house. So let's move on up to the next level. Now on the front of the house we have a small balcony with some columns here and a kind of trapezoidal doorway there to try and add to the kind of shabby ricketiness of the whole house. On the sides we have more paneling here, and I really liked creating these windows on the sides, which kind of have a more Gothic or Victorian looking opening with the bar in the middle, and it just kind of looks a little more creepy and eerie, I think. Now I left the back half of the structure open so that I could put some interior details in here, and you can play around with a minifigure. There's a desk where Jack can experiment on his various Christmas items. There's a chair and a Christmas tree, of course, and then some wreaths, and even a little bat up here to kind of add to the Nightmare Before Christmas ambiance. Now the roof was an interesting challenge just because of all the odd sloping angles that we see in Tim Burton films. I tried to use a lot of wedge plates to try and get those interesting shapes and curves and slopes on the roof, and it kind of makes it look a little more like the roof is kind of sagging and maybe falling apart and things like that. One other cool thing about the roof is that it does open up so that you have a lot easier access to all these internal items here in Jack's house. And up here we have the tower that we see on Jack's house, and unfortunately the one in the film is not to scale either, so I think his laboratory is actually up here in the top of this turret or tower, but it's clear that he would never actually be able to fit up there, so obviously I can't do the same thing. They did some clever camera trickery to make it seem like he's up in that area. But we do have the tower included, even though there's no way you would actually be able to get up into that tower. And of course we have some custom printed minifigs of Jack Skellington and Sally. They both have side printing on their sides of their legs and arms, as well as on the back, which is really nice. I love how well they captured the features of both characters, and you can see Jack comes with two different heads. These custom minifigures were done by Pop Punk Monkey, and he is an eBay seller, so there will be a link to that store down below if you're interested in picking up these minifigures. So yeah, check it out. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope seeing Jack Skellington's house in Lego form has gotten you into the Halloween mood, or maybe the Christmas mood, who knows. Now, if you're interested in building this model, all you gotta do is head on over to buildbetterbricks.com, where you can download the instructions as well as the entire parts list for the build. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.